So I'm showing, are you good to go? Well, welcome everybody. We are here officially on a meeting that we had to change from Monday because it was President's Day to tonight on the 20th. This is the City Council meeting in the chambers. We're meeting according to the Open Meeting Act for the governor's policies and procedures. So we are in full accordance to that. Before we get going, I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And if Hayden, if you could come up here and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. That would be
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to your comments eventually. So now I'm going to officially call this meeting to order. And if we could take the roll call, clerk, please.
Mayor Turnbull. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Janetti.
Here.
Councilmember Crims.
Here.
Outstanding. We have a full quorum here tonight on a Thursday night. And I thought I was going to miss this on Monday because I was out of town. Very unusual for me to be. So let's go to number 3. If you haven't been here before, as you came in, it's the agenda of what's going on tonight. I'm kind of your scorekeeper and I'll be your guide through it. And Mr. Goopman, why don't you grab a couple of the agendas and give it to these ladies right here too. Thank you very much. We didn't want to start without you, but we did anyways. Okay, good. So with that, we have the agenda pretty straightforward here tonight. And yes, go right ahead.
I'm just requesting if council could remove consent item G and we'll defer it to a later date.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, on that, just for everybody's information, we had meetings with the township this afternoon. They've signed all the documents for the closure on McDonald Ford, the activity. They are going to their council tonight. Some minor changes. The lawyers were there today. So that is why we don't need to do this until next week after they do their thing. So thank you for bringing that up front too. Okay, so with that, any other changes on the agenda, on the main agenda? So great. I'm looking for a motion to go forward with the main agenda here tonight. We only have 3 things on that.
This is for the regular.
For the regular agenda, that's correct.
Approve the agenda as submitted.
Great. So do I have,
My.
can you hear her out there?
Yeah, it was, I thought it was on.
So we have approval we have A, B, and C on the agenda tonight. Do we have support for that?
Support.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Good. We have an agenda. Let's go forward. Now, this is the public comment if it's something not on the agenda tonight. So anything. So if it's something that is one of the 3 things, consideration of calling a special meeting, I'm sure you're not here to talk about that. Strategic priorities. I would ask you to wait, or consideration of the Michigan Association of Police Settlement Agreement. If you're here for any of those things, I will open it up after that. If not, this is your time to come up to the podium. And know that by coming up to the podium and speaking tonight, you're giving us your permission to replay this, so this will be tomorrow. If you want to see yourself and speaking, we tape all these things. You can go online and look at that. When you start here, give us your full name and address for the record. That'd be great. Welcome, Hayden.
My home address?
Yes.
Okay. So hi, my name is Hayden Rosenau. I live at 620 Potomac Street here in Northville. And I'm a freshman at Northville High School. And I wanted to make a club at my high school called Libraries for Northville, where we would make, decorate, and install little pop-up libraries in public spaces in downtown Northville. And there's already some here from Rotary Club in the town square and in Ford Field. And they're just little that size boxes where you can take a book and leave a book. And they would be next to sidewalks and parks. They would never be in the way or blocking anything. And in order for my club to get approved at my school, I need to figure out how to get permission to put the libraries into public spaces. And Northville High School students would take care of them and make sure they're okay.
Sure.
But on February 4th, I emailed the city clerk, and then on February 11th, I emailed you, Mayor Turnbull.
You did.
I did, and I haven't gotten a response back. So I was just wondering if you could respond to my email or offer me any advice.
Duly noted, President accepted.
Thank you. You are wonderful.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I try to respond every day.
It's the
You know, I
best.
get about 200 or 300 every day, and I try to do it by the night. I was out of town for a few days, so I must have got behind. So I apologize. I usually try to get, so thank you for coming here tonight and keep speaking.
Any help about how to get permission would be appreciated.
Are we allowed to clap during?
So I thank you very much. So I will give you my card. We will get together. I believe
not
the
orchestrate
library and
this.
Wendy Much, who's in charge of the library activities, the history activities at one time over here, and now the archivist at Millrace Village. I might get her involved with you too on that. But let me give you your card. We will get together. We will talk. Texting is the greatest thing for me. I know you think I'm old school on emails, but text me. And I appreciate you coming here tonight to get our attention. And I am one that always gets back, so I apologize. So I must have got wound up for a day or two because I was gone.
Well, and I would say normal protocol, we only accept public comment. We don't reply.
Yep.
So we have,
But this is special tonight.
so yes,
Yep. Thank you very much. And I always tell them not to reply.
For anyone else.
But I will be reaching out. Text me and we'll set up a time. Thank you so much. Great.
thank you
Thank you very much. for inviting me.
wholeheartedly.
So, I would have said that to you, and we're in the midst of a new clerk activities, so they usually get a hold of me and what
Right.
have you. So we'll get you. Thank you very much for coming tonight. You bet. Duly noted. Good. Any other public comment here tonight?
And
Looking
early.
through this.
That's awesome.
Good. Excellent. I'm closing off public comment. Let's go to the next area. Did we have any, I didn't see any written communications come in today, did we?
No,
So no written communications, great. So let's go to number 5, consideration of approving the consent agenda. We're already taking one thing off of that we'll put on the next
Yeah.
meeting, which would be a week from Monday, I
So
believe.
I move to approve the consent agenda as amended
Great, and that is without number G.
without G.
Great,
Correct.
excellent. So we have a motion to go forward with the consent agenda. Do we have support for that? Support. Good. We have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Good. We have an agenda and a consent agenda. Presentations, Ford Field fundraising. And are you up on this one, Wendy? Super. See, we're going so quick. You're still on that seat back there. This is excellent. I have grandpa duty at 7:30. I don't think I'm going to make it, but I could tonight. So.
I do too. It's my grandson's
Oh,
birthday.
so good. So keep that going. And you're going back to
To
Lansing.
try and get cranking here.
Excellent.
Okay, I've got a.
No pressure or anything.
few-
Just great.
A few
Yes.
graphics here to talk through.
Great.
All right, first of all, I'm here to talk about Ford Field Playground, and we have some very exciting news that we want to talk with people about. So, next slide. Just to remind everybody, Ford Field Park is actually 2 parks, one on the east side and one on the west side of Griswold Street. Total of about 10.5 city, but a little bit further east than in the center. So next slide, please. Oh, internet connection is unstable.
It's been a little
Oh, is
funny
that
in
what
this
it
room
says?
today.
That's what it said initially.
Yep. It's one that's in here about 12 hours a day. It's a little
Just talk
unique
through
today.
it too, if the presentation. just-
We'll
Okay.
catch up to you.
So I just wanted to kind of remind everybody that in 2022, the city went through a process of developing a master plan for Ford Field West. And the plan looks at, 6 pretty substantial improvements over the course of time. Improvements to Serenity Point on the northern park, which I think everybody knows now that is well underway, which has been really fun to watch. We're looking at long-term, some improvements to the recreation and open play fields. The barrier-free gateway and bank stabilization project, we are out to bid on that project as well. Had some very good response to
Great.
our bid, our request proposals at this point in time.
What's our timing for that?
We are looking at, we'll open bids the first week of March. And then on March 17th, we'll bring the information back to you as a body to evaluate just, we have some alternatives for you all to give consideration to, so we get some direction. And then we're looking at probably contract award in April with construction starting potentially in June.
When do the bids close?
Bids close the first week of May.
During
Or, I'm
that,
sorry,
March.
Yeah.
Good.
Wednesday, March 3rd, I believe.
Okay, so we got a
Yeah.
couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Keep moving. Great.
Yep. So that's just exciting. That'll be underway this summer as well. Then also part of the master plan is in the future, a pavilion in Community Plaza. Some restrooms, which we have secured a grant for. That is a federally funded grant. And so I think we're, just sitting tight on that right now and hoping for the best. And then an accessible playground was another part of this improvement plan. One of the things that I like to bring up is that in 2021, a survey was done of visitors to Ford Field Park. 1,198 people responded, and they indicated based on their zip code that they were from 23 different communities, from the surrounding area and our area as well. So this park is a draw. It's a draw for our community. It serves an important resource in our community, but it's also a draw for the greater area as well. Next slide, please. All right, just a little bit of a description of the existing playground and why we're looking at replacing it completely. This playground was built in 1996. It's a wooden play structure that has been heavily used and heavily loved. And in Michigan, wood only has a limited life. And there are a number of components of this structure that just are not repairable anymore. In fact, they've been sort of removed over time. And so we're really looking at a need to replace it because it can't be repaired any longer. A couple of other key things is that the structure is not ADA accessible and it doesn't meet current playground safety standards. And those two facts are just a product of its age. That says nothing about the design or anything other than that. So next slide, please. So to help move this project forward, we have been working for almost the past year at gathering public input and developing a master plan, a site plan for replacing the playground. There was a public meeting and a survey in June of 2024. We have formed a playground committee that has been meeting for quite a few months now. The names of the committee members are up there and they are in alphabetical order. So the order doesn't, relate to importance of any individual. So, but it's a great committee. We've had some amazing support and received some great feedback from the committee members. Under their guidance and with their input, we have identified a project scope that includes updating the play structure to meet current standards, poured in place a rubberized surface, landscaping and natural seating elements, as well as benches and picnic tables. And I'm just really excited at the way this playground looks because it wraps around some of the natural elements in the park. And so we're looking at that integration of the natural elements with these play structures. And I just think it's going to be a really, really great feature. So next slide,
Oh,
please.
can I, before you move on, because I don't, just very quickly. One is the playground committee. Liz Carter is also on that. So,
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She is.
yeah,
I-
late
I-
ad. So, no, when
I
you move
apologize.
forward, because you're
Thank you.
probably going to use this
Thank you.
more.
Yes.
And the other is related to the second bullet under project scope. It would be include poured in place rubberized surface because it's possible every inch of it won't be that. So,
That.
you know what I
is
mean?
One of the.
yeah, so include it
Yes.
doesn't mean it wouldn't be part of it, but
Yeah.
might in that, because that's a big ticket item. So,
Yes, it
yes.
is.
So
Thank
those
you.
were the
That's a
only,
good
one
thing
was
to-
the name and just the other was include poured in doesn't preclude us from fashioning a portion of it that isn't.
That is true, and that's a good point. So
Okay.
thank you for raising that. So what we're announcing today is we are launching the Patronicity crowdfunding campaign. What this is a Michigan Economic Development Corporation. It is a Patronicity is a fundraising platform that, and the program through MEDC is a matching grant.
Excellent.
So if we raise $75,000, we will receive a $75,000 grant from the MEDC for a total of $150,000 towards this project. So there's a couple of caveats. One is we have 60 days to raise the money. So we're going to be hitting this hard. You're going to see a lot of information about it. And this is the official launch date. I hit the go live button today. So let's go to the next slide, please, and we'll share some additional information with you. All right, this is some of our promotional literature, and I put some in front of you today as well. This is our marketing campaign, the Ford Field Playground for the Future, in which we are inviting people to join us in building a world of play that is provides for play for all individuals at Ford Field Park.
Really nice.
And there's a number of ways you can donate, and I do encourage people to try this out right now. Actually, we're going to visit the website. You can through the QR code, or you can use the direct URL patronicity.com/Ford Field. So we're going to pull this website up here so that you can see what it looks like.
Our Wi-Fi is not working well. Oh, yeah, Ford Field Playground of the Future. It goes right to
There
it.
it
I
goes.
did it.
Oh, it
Did it
goes
from this,
with the QR code, it'll go right to it.
Excellent.
And so this is what you'll see. And if you could scroll down a little bit, we have a donation already. So that's exciting. And if the donor wishes to make themselves known, they can so.
I got
do
to be
so.
first. She said she put it live and I ran right in and said,
Put some money on there.
first.
Good.
in.
Test it
Good,
out.
good.
The minutes
Thanks for the
reflect
time.
who's first.
You're not getting it back. Good.
So
Good test. Good.
you see a bunch of information about the project, and anybody who's curious, I encourage you to read through it, because it gives you the history of the project, tells you why we're doing this, the way some of the money will be spent.
Right.
And then on the right-hand side, there's all the different giving levels. Now, these are suggested giving levels. If you want to, give us $10, that's wonderful. $10 is great. If you want to give us $540 instead of just 540, awesome. So the way this is structured, you can donate whatever amount you like. But listed on the right there for each category, it tells you sort of what you get for that donation. And, it's not like you're going to get a cruise to Alaska or anything like that. But we acknowledge the donations in a number of different ways. So I am going to ask our person here to click on one of these. It's not going to commit us to anything. So if you'll just click on that. So what comes up is it pops right up to a giving level, and you can increase that contribution if you like, or you can just stick with this. If you click the email, please, where it says email, it will ask you for your email. And I just wanted to let everybody know,
I
the
see.
reason for
There it
this
does.
is you will be emailed a receipt or an acknowledgement of your donation. And so you have a paper copy of that.
Access and everything.
I also receive an email, and that allows me to keep that list to give people updates if necessary.
Oh, great.
Right.
And so that's why we ask for your email, just so people know how that's going to be used. Now, if I were to type my email in here, the very next slide is it asks for your credit card and whatnot, so you can work through the process. But it's really very, very easy from the QR code or the URL. And you can click out of this now and go back to the presentation, please. Now, if people just are not in a position to donate, and that's, completely understandable, there are other ways that you can help in this process. And then the next page, please. A big one is tell your friends or spread the word or, give out information. We are going to have more of these flyers available that I handed to you at the beginning of the meeting. We're also going to do a postcard mailer, and so those will go out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And then we're developing little business cards, and these are great for handing out if you're going to parties or if you're, with friends or just, meeting people in a restaurant. And it's less paper and they're just real easy, and it's got the QR code right on the back. We're also going to be doing yard signs. So if anybody is someplace where
Can I
they could
take
use a
one?
yard sign, awesome. Okay, we'll get some of.
I don't
those
know if
made
I'll
up.
get it in the ground though. It's kind of frozen.
I know.
Just
See,
put it in the
on
snow.
to
Oh, you're right.
your
Mhm.
front door.
Stick it in a bush.
So, we're planning on hitting this really hard because we definitely want to hit that 75,000. And if anybody wants to donate, the maximum you can donate through this platform is $10,000. We will take larger donations. Just reach out to George or I. And we can talk with you.
I noticed it said the last one was 10,001 and I thought that was the case too. Should you change that to 10,000 on here?
Oh, I can.
Yeah, just,
It looks like there's a 10,000 category and then it's like an above, so.
yeah, well, that's why, but it's limited, right? I would,
Yep.
yeah, I would just,
Well,
Yeah.
could they still donate that, but that's not eligible for match though?
yeah, but we wouldn't want them to donate 10,001.
Or not,
Because,
depends if it's 10,001 or 25. then-
well, but it could say additional give, it could just take that number out and say, additional
I like
higher
if you're
giving
above
levels.
10,000, reach out to George and Wendy because they can
Yes.
probably figure
yeah.
something out.
We'll handle it
And I'm not,
directly
I
to the
just,
city.
We got-
and I'm not saying, that's,
Yes.
So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you
Great.
all.
Oh,
and-
this
and
looks great.
we're
Yeah.
Super excited. So you'll be tired of hearing about this after the next. 5
Oh, I
weeks.
think this is
Probably.
great that it's a small amount of time and I'm pretty enthused about Ford Field. We have 4 projects within Ford Field and they're going gangbusters on where the waterfall's coming in and you're doing a great job on that. That's $750,000. And then we have the entryways, there for the vistas. That's the second. We figure another third is the play structure and the fourth is the bathrooms.
Yeah.
So you have 4 major programs. And I say to people, this would be the biggest thing we've ever done, seriously, in the city of Northville. We got all these other things. So yes, I think it's great that it's a small amount of time. My question is it maximum? They're only going to match up to $75,000?
We'll only match up to $75,000.
Okay.
So once we hit that, additional donations, we'll just take in through.
Great.
and
Okay.
as Rotary has also
Yep,
talked about
exactly right.
fundraising efforts.
Right.
Independent, because a certain amount and then they would match. Yeah, but that's separate from this.
I think that's
So-
an important point because in total, we need between $300,000 and $400,000.
Yep.
Mhm.
So it's a large pool. So it's this effort combined with Rotary's effort.
Yep.
I think that overall,
Mhm.
it's.
And
We
private
need a
public
community
partnerships,
event.
some people will
And a
be donating.
fundraiser.
Yeah, and a few
Other
fundraising events.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And that's also if someone does come to us directly with a larger contribution, maybe we could have some go through this to maximize this and also talk to Rotary. So there are ways that we can
Yeah.
help
Yeah,
make
Right.
sure we're maximizing
exactly.
those spots.
because that would
We've got
help
lots of
Rotary
partners.
because of,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wendy, should we note on here that their donations will be matched?
Oh, yep.
And one other
Up to
question
10,000.
is, and this is
Or up
only,
to 75 total.
I love the layout. It's so clear and the colors are great.
Mhm.
Will people, we do not mention Fort Griswold anywhere in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you probably thought about this, like
Yeah.
people were replacing Fort, our beloved, our aging Fort Griswold. Is there any link? I don't know if people will know that that's what we're replacing. It was just a thought.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting editing this, but it was only people that aren't familiar with all the discussions we've had about this or the public meetings and that, it's not an additional.
No,
Like,
it's not an additional. We are replacing.
Correct.
the
But
existing
people may
playground.
think, well, why do we need another playground
Yeah.
versus, not that we pitch why we need to replace it, but anyway, it was just,
In your marketing materials too, I would do a text over to us because we have a lot of people on our text
Yeah.
messages, with that information,
Yep.
we can take a picture and do it, but once you look at that and tomorrow, all of us will touch some of our closest friends.
Well, and also we
support.
have social media, some of
Right,
us
and
don't use it very often, but I.
And I'll put this
Still
in the
distribute it.
weekly newsletter, sooner the better, starting next week, and we'll do a special
And
deal on
this
so.
weekend, this Saturday is, I haven't looked at the weather, chilly in the Ville.
Yep.
So that's, we're not gonna have those cards to hand out, but that's an opportunity, I don't know, to put up a small tent or a table or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So think about that.
So
You
there's
have
you know,
thousands of
depending,
people in downtown.
depending on the weather, there are usually quite a few
Right.
people that turn out for that.
Right.
thing.
Chamber and the Parks and Rec will put it in their
Yep.
newsletter.
Get it going
Oh.
with everybody.
Bridget and then Douglas.
T-shirt weather on Saturday, it's gonna be high at 30.
Oh, boy.
Oh, what's a heat wave?
With some sun.
Okay, good, good.
So there will be likely a very strong turnout
Yep.
and
That's
that's
a-
a captured
Thousands
audience.
of people have some presence. Somebody will be around you. We'll do that.
The only thing is I've had a few people ask, so with the event that we're doing March 15th, the Declan's Dance event, that money is also going to Ford Field. 100% supportive. Obviously, my wife's on the playground committee as well, but 100% supportive of the patronicity effort. And not only is it supportive, but we're going to be coordinating all of the fundraising efforts as well. So just wanted to make sure
Are the
that there is
donations-
no.
Tax deductible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
good.
Can the Declan Carter event count for?
Are you speaking from the audience?
I
Oh.
can't hear miscellaneous people in the audience.
Sergeant at Arms?
Dave Zubin, 900 Springside.
I'm going to open it up to the public comment now on this. Full name and address again.
We're going wild.
City or township?
Collecting a lot of money from that. Can that be part of? the
So we actually
match?
did confirm with Wendy that we can make a donation from that event up to the $10,000 match limit.
Great.
Cool.
So that'll
As a
get
patron.
us going to the 10th. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Mr. Gutman, for
Okay.
jumping in there. That is your public comment for the day. Thank you.
So it's
Have a
all
seat,
going to the
sir.
right place.
Great.
Thank you,
Outstanding,
Wendy.
outstanding. Any other comments? I think
Thank you.
we got a lot going on there.
A lot of rules tonight. That's just
Any other
fine.
public comment on this tonight? Going once, going twice? Thank you, Mr. Gutman, for stepping in there.
All
Good.
right.
So let's go on to,
Thank you, Wendy.
yeah, thank you very much. We are going to the next level here of public hearings. We don't have any tonight. Unfinished business, we finished it all. New business, we have just three simple things here tonight. A, consideration of calling a special meeting on April 28th, 2025. You're asking
Yep.
for that, City Manager?
Correct. So just looking to have a special meeting on April 28th at 5:30 for the purpose of long-range capital planning. We are going to be having discussions on some capital items that will be a part of the 2026 budget during the budget process. So this is going to be up to the 5-6 years out. This is not necessarily for the first year. That will be during the budget. This is looking for long-term. So this comes a little later in the budget process, but it should not impact the budget process. It's more long-term planning.
Do we have any conflicts? Anybody have major conflicts on the 28th?
Nope.
Put it in.
Okay.
Thanks for getting.
Good.
Would you like a motion?
Excellent. So I'd like a motion to go forward if there's no conflicts here.
You need public comment? there?
Oh, yeah.
Any public comment on the meeting on the 28th?
Roger?
Seeing once, seeing twice? No. Thank you very much.
I move that the Northville City Council call a special meeting on April 28th, 2025 at 5:30 PM for the purpose of long-range capital planning.
Great. So we have a motion. Do we have support for that motion? Support, anybody for the motion?
Support.
Okay, support. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. Good. It's going forward. Number two, we have the draft strategic priorities. We spent a long time. We had a whole meeting on strategic priorities. I think you incorporated those. I'll let you tell us that. And we've all had a chance to look at them. Appreciate all your work and all your staff too.
you.
Go right ahead.
This is a team effort. We had a lengthy conversation with council on the 27th and rolled through all of our strategic priorities. And we've taken all those notes and you see the notes in front of you on the council item where it talks about what we were able to incorporate. We made a lot of modifications, added some. So I think we're kind of getting to the point where the document is getting a little bit lengthy in terms of priorities. I think we came originally last year with 68. When we presented to council, we had 78. And after council discussion, I think we're up to 88 priorities. So it's getting a little bit long and we're getting a little bit concerned about that. But I think that it's doable over 2 years when we remember this is a 2-year priority process.
Right.
But I think we have to also be mindful of the fact that
And we ranked them too on the
we
importance.
can't keep
Yep.
putting more into it, but I think we have a very good.
If everything's important, nothing's important.
Yeah.
So you're ranking them.
We have a very
Well,
good list of projects here.
Well, and just following up on what George said is that part of that is we don't have anything that we're not going to complicate this by weighting it, but some
Right.
of these are major efforts
Yep.
that require significant staff time and or resource, expenditures, whereas others are important, right? They were on, the staff put them on there, or one of us has to have it be on there. But it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? In terms of, it's a lesser either expense or, and certainly resource time. So, it's on,
Good. Nope.
Yeah.
We all read them. I feel good. You made the changes. I didn't, was there anything that we
I
didn't
just had a
catch? Go
couple
right ahead.
comments
Yep, go right
that
ahead.
not necessarily edits, but a clarification. First one was on the online payments. So I did meet with Sandy on that. What we allow right now is you can basically provide the city with your bank information instead of recurring payments. What I was referring to is being able to go in and actually make online payments, similar to how all of us pay our mortgages, pay our car bills, I'm assuming. But it sounds like our current system, e-check, is the only option. So it'd be literally looking at a different platform. So what the comment was is as we look at other options in the future, that might be something. I don't think we need to add it as a goal here, but I would still love to see a system where people could literally walk in, pay one time for their tax bill without having to pay a significant fee online. Because right now the credit card option is it's an expensive fee. I think
Did Sandy say, that was a,
she said like they could definitely look at it
Look
as a
into it, right.
potential
Okay.
with future platforms because it's all time.
I think I overheard that conversation when you were in.
The second item is I was just wondering on the consideration of Zoom platform meeting, if we have timing for when we're thinking we'll do that.
Actually, yes, actually, it's a great time.
Yeah, we're
We
gonna do
actually-
that at the end, but this is a good time to say it.
I have a couple of items. We're doing a review. Actually, Evan's doing a review for us of neighboring municipalities. Want to come back with a recommendation. Hopefully at the next meeting, we have a meeting also scheduled with our video providers next week to talk through what sort of process they've used effectively in other communities.
Right.
And then we'll be coming back with a recommendation likely on March 3rd for council. So we're in process and hope to have a recommendation soon.
Okay. And my thought is by the beginning of the second quarter, we'll be online. And I've reached out to Conference of Western Wayne and CWW and SEMCOG and a whole bit that what are they doing and how are they do? We're kind of in front of it. They're all looking at it. And the ones that have gone is usually one time in the front and what have you, but we're gonna look at that. We're gonna
Yeah,
take a
see
survey,
what-
what works, and that would make the flow pretty well. But absolutely, in my opinion, I think we're going in that direction. We will be there by the beginning of the second quarter, and we will work with our IT provider to make it simple so people go on their phones. So there's security levels that have been incorporated since we had some opportunities here and others have. So,
Yeah, and
good.
And then my last one, and then I'm wrapped up, is I'd raised time limits on ADA parking. And I know the response was we don't currently have time limits on our ADA or handicap parking spaces, but we're also in the process of reviewing our parking system timelines for turnover and other restrictions. And so I just want to make sure to highlight, I don't think we have to change because we don't have limits now,
Mhm.
but as we look at assessing and driving turnover within and different options, that I really do feel strongly in terms of protecting our handicap parking spots and not having time limits that become difficult.
Agreed. Agreed.
keep an eye.
Yep, absolutely.
Something to keep in track
Yep.
of.
And just following up on that one related to the Zoom, which thank you for bringing that up. It was, it was in here as add Zoom consideration of Zoom platform. Actually, that had been in our last year's. And it was removed when it came to us. So we just put it back in.
Yep.
So it wasn't and I only put that in terms of this has been on our plate for a while. It's not one of those, it's a new ask. So it is adding back on. I also am fine. One of the things I had requested was some sort of internal expectations process for timely response from emails, phone calls, and it was not added. I'm fine with that. But I still hopefully move forward on that in a timely manner.
And what we addressed it as in the memo was, I think hopefully you picked it up in that, was a couple of areas. We're going to be resituating the phone system to have less dead ends and more opportunities for direct customer service. But also because right now the system is out of date in terms of getting to the right space. So it's not easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Which I think can result in people getting dead ends. And also we also will talk about it in terms of internal staff expectations.
Well, and sometimes it could be that the email is, they're leaving an email to an appropriate number, but that person isn't getting it, you know, but anyway, there's all kinds of it, but I think it is an important issue, but I'm fine with it not being on here because it should just be a normal expectation of the way we do work. So.
Absolutely. Good. Anything else on that? Any other comments? Thank you for all the work. We spent that whole night looking at these projects. I think it's more streamlined than it used to be. Thank you for you and your staff, all the work you did and the preparation for that. You made it clear for us to give you those comments. And as I read through, you incorporated just about all those comments. Yes, we'll have to prioritize a little bit. If everything's on there important, then nothing's important, but we will get to the big boy ones. So thank you. Thank you for your staff. So I'm looking for a motion to go forward to approve this. Oh. Is there anybody?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Gutman, please come up to the podium of life.
Dave Gutman, 900 Spring Drive, Northville. Just a minor comment and actually kind of directed to you, John. Within that stack of 88 priorities, I do know that there's an environmental sustainability section. In our sustainability meeting that we will have on Monday, if we could have a quick review of that, so that we're up to speed and can address that and make any recommendations, that would be a great help to us.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you. And you'll be at that meeting. You'll be presenting that. Outstanding. Good. Thank you. He will do an outstanding job. I feel the love on that. Thank you, Mr. Gutman. We will probably go to one public comment in the future with Zoom, but thank you very much. So anything else? Anything else from the audience? Going once, going twice? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Gutman. This has been enlightening tonight. Nope, you're not excused yet. You have to be here for the whole meeting. Okay, so then now I am looking for the motion of life up here. You have a sample motion in your package. Do we have that?
Yeah,
motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the 2025-2026 strategic priorities.
Excellent. Do I have support for that?
Support.
So we have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Great. You have direction on that. Number C, consideration of the Michigan Association of Police Settlement Agreement. This is 3 of 4. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. Go right ahead.
So we have for council's consideration a tentative agreement with our patrol officers. This is a group of 8 officers. The chief, myself, deputy chief, finance, and HR have been in bargaining for about 3 months on a successor agreement to a 4-year agreement. We are presenting a 4-year contract. This is similar in parameters to what we had with the 2 other groups that council approved for our clerical employees and for our public works employees. Those were both approved in December. There are a couple of little issues here that are unique to police, that on-call and some other things where there's little incremental differences, but largely this is a similar agreement. And also has some issues related to on-call, equalization of on-call, some employer-related issues that we wanted to work on. So overall, we've worked very collaboratively with our labor unions and came to a good result, and looking for council's approval.
Excellent. Good work on that. I know there's been a lot of time and energy as one that spends time in here, back and forth downstairs and talking to folks, and you and your team. So thank you for that. A huge amount of time and energy, and we're almost there. We'll be 4 for 4 soon. I'm sorry.
One more to go.
Sure. Any questions for George on these?
Well,
Only thing I was gonna say is George has done a great job of keeping Andrew and I from a personnel committee standpoint in the loop throughout. To me, it's higher wages, employee contributions to the defined benefit, or a contribution plan, which is a good thing, and an improved vesting schedule. I think it frankly is good for the city and shows our commitment to our police force. So very supportive.
And I thank the Personnel Committee, Andrew and John, for all the work, not only this, but the other activities that we have. One of our 27 boards and committees and whatever out there. You're doing a great job on that. Thanks for the communication.
That we need to be.
It is. And without the people and doing the right contract, we won't have the right results in the future. So thank you too, tremendously.
I ditto that. Thank you to George for taking care of this. Also the Personnel Committee for keeping up to date for council members. You're representing that. But I also want to thank the attachment that's here, which the agreement itself. We do something that only recently I found out is not done in all municipalities, that essentially this is a red line version. So we see what it was before, we see what the update was, and I think we take that for granted because it really is helpful.
Yeah.
But thank you. And what I saw there, as John, echoing what John said, it looks fair and also good for retention and other things. So thank you very much.
One other quick thing I want to mention is I want to thank the chief for his leadership in working on this, but we are actually to the point now where we are close to fully staffed for the first time in several years.
Wow.
We've got one strong candidate in the academy who should be completed in 3 months, May, and then we'll be fully staffed with patrol officers and fully staffed for the first time, I think in 2 years. Maybe up and down. So we're in a good spot and heading into a good spot with our officers at this
That's
point.
great.
So thanks to the chief.
If I go back 3-4 years ago, this was actually one of our major priorities because we were significantly understaffed
Right.
at that point and implemented a number of changes in terms of recognition of prior years of service and other police departments, and the SRO program, and there's been some phenomenal steps to get to where we are. So thank you.
And we do have a good mix now of recruited officers who are a little later in their careers and also new officers. And the one in the academy is a representation of a new officer, but we've also hired a couple of sort of mid-career or a little later career. So we've got a good mix,
Strong experience.
good mix of experience and enthusiasm.
Absolutely.
Important that prevents the team from being burned out if you have a full complement. So
Indeed.
that's good. It's
Thank you
really
for
good.
being here tonight to get these accolades too. Duly noted. Thank you.
Alan
Good.
still doesn't take vacation.
I know.
Chief Maciak still
Yeah, I know.
doesn't take vacation.
He doesn't, but
That's not allowed.
he's a sergeant at arms at all times. Thank you very much. Good. Anything else on this? Good, good. So I'm looking, we got that out there. Anybody from the public have anything to say on this? Thank you so much. Going once, going twice, all of you. It's close. I'm looking for a motion to approve this. Do we have that motion?
I'm on a heater, so I get.
Okay,
I'll
you go.
Mayor, I move to approve the settlement agreement between the city of Northville and MAP effective January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2028 as presented.
Support.
Great. So we have a motion properly supported and my computer's blowing up, so I'm going to turn it off again. Any other discussion on that? Seeing
No,
none?
it's not blowing. It's just
No.
making a really weird noise.
Yeah, my
It's
fan is
very-
gone, so I turned it on. It's not a pretty thing. With that, do we have a motion? It was properly supported. There's no other discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Great. So we will go on to number 10. We are going to get home on a timely basis. This might be one of the first ever. From the mayor communications, a lot going on, starting this weekend, chili in the Ville and different activities, be downtown. It's a great thing to have the Ford Field activities, have a little booth, have somebody down there giving away everything known to mankind, maybe some chili too. Think about that. In general, too, a lot of communications going around. Try to run those through George for your own benefits, so it doesn't come back to you, even though you say don't reply to all, use George as a conduit, for most of the things. I used to do it out to everybody, even though we don't want it to come back to people. Use George for a lot of different things. It protects all of you too. You don't want to make any decisions, coming to you, but I would ask, work through George on a lot of things. As I saw, a lot of things going on here. You want to get the information out to everybody. And I'm always dying to get it out, but I slow down and I give it to George to give to everybody. So just take a look. And there's 2 or 3 this week, work through that. I want to keep everybody out of the soup, for goodness sake. So we'll do that. That's all I have tonight. Anything else from council?
I was gonna add tomorrow at 11:30 at the community center, the Northville Senior Services is hosting Taste of Italy luncheon catered by Janetti's.
Is that a little restaurant in town?
Yeah, it's right down on Main.
You do know that?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I see. It's Italian? Okay, good.
I will also shamelessly continue to plug, so Declan's Dance, March
Yes.
15th. All ticket proceeds and donations go to Ford Field. You may have noticed there's a theme. We're in this together and we're not gonna stop asking, so
Right.
let's jump on board.
Yeah.
And then lastly, go USA, beat Canada and Four Nations hockey.
Yeah, you're gonna see that tonight, it's coming right now. 45 minutes is, puck goes on the ice, go. And there's a little game, Michigan State, that is in the next day or two.
Go green.
Go blue.
Go.
A couple things, Mayor. Last night, a lot of engagement on planning. Or no, 2 nights ago, last night.
Yeah,
was
Tuesday night,
ADJC.
yep.
There was no vote, but there were some pretty consistent themes that were discussed, a lot of good feedback.
Excellent.
Everybody had a lot, there's a lot of really good points that were kind of teased out from that. So I know that the team is going back and evaluating, the developer team is going back and evaluating a lot of comment. I think we knew this was gonna take a little bit for them to iterate and get through it, so that's ongoing. So if you're interested in what that's gonna look like, how it's gonna affect the final site plan from before March 4th is, I believe they're planning on being back in. We'll get communication out for that. Also, had a great discussion with Michelle Feck today at Oakwood Cemetery. So between excellent work of Dave Merrill and Chuck Murdoch and others. So I walked her through what it looked like with the private donations versus the current condition, and she thought it was absolutely stunning, the improvement.
Right.
So there'll be a write-up in the Ville, and then we got to talk about maybe, how do we bolster the private funding on that?
Yep.
There's a lot of good stuff. I can't stress it enough. Walk past Oakwood and you can see just the beginning of what we're gonna do. Also, we're working on it too. We haven't forgotten. We're gonna recognize 2 of the girls' state championship teams.
You let me know. We'll have them in here at the
We
same
gotta do
time.
that.
We'll do that.
So, we have not forgotten. I believe it's volleyball and golf.
Right.
We will bring them in here. So just-
Excellent.
Just be aware that we got that.
You let us know when, because there'll be other state championships before the end of the year.
This
So we
district
better
there
get
will
this
be.
done.
So, yeah, we're working on it. We'll get them in here. So, no, we have
Excellent.
not forgotten, but we definitely will recognize any and all state
Good.
champions.
Thank you for doing that and for representing us at the planning commission as an old planning commissioner yourself. And I know others go, but you're our official conduit. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. Any others?
Oh, and nobody texted me because I'm gonna be in the bubble during the game tonight because I gotta drive kids.
Okay, no problem.
I
Please
will
do.
text me until 9:30. I'm not looking at my phone, so.
Laura's going to be texting.
I
you.
will be texting.
Is there anything from the city standpoint? Good. So I'm looking for a motion for adjournment. Do I have that motion?
I move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll support it.
Okay.
Thanks, Laura.
Any other discussion? There is none. All in support, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Boom. We are done.